Irma Grese was the most notorious of the female Nazi war criminals and was one of the relatively small number of women who had worked in the concentration camps that were hanged for war crimes by the Allies. She became the youngest woman executed under British jurisdiction in the 20th century and was also the youngest of the concentration camp guards to be hanged. Like many other young people, she was swayed by Hitler's oratory and shocked by the corruption of the Weimar Republic government. She joined a Nazi youth group and wholeheartedly embraced their ideas. She was a volunteer concentration camp guard and had not been forced to work there. In March 1943, she was transferred to Auschwitz. She later did a further spell at Ravensbrück and then went to Bergen-Belsen in March 1945. She was the second most senior female guard there. Belsen was liberated by the British, and Irma, along with the camp's commandant Joseph Kramer, and other guards were all arrested. He and 44 of the others were indicted for war crimes by a British military court under royal warrant of the 14th of June 1945 on various charges of murder and ill treatment of their prisoners at Bergen-Belsen and Auschwitz concentration camps. The first phase of the Belsen trials, as they were known, took place at number 30 Lindenstrasse, Lüneburg in Germany, between the 17th of September and the 17th of November 1945. All the accused were represented by counsel, Irma being defended by Major LSW Cranfield. Irma pleaded not guilty to the specific charges brought against her. Many of the survivors of Belsen testified against Irma. They spoke of the beatings and the arbitrary shooting of prisoners, the savaging of prisoners by her trained and half-starved dogs, of her selecting prisoners for the gas chambers. She habitually wore heavy boots and carried a whip and a pistol. She was alleged to have used both physical and emotional methods to torture the camp's inmates. She said in her defense that Himmler is responsible for all that has happened, but I suppose I have as much guilt as the others above me. On the 54th day of the trial, she was, not surprisingly, found guilty on both counts 1 and 2 of the indictment. Of the defendants found guilty, 8 men and 3 women were sentenced to death and 19 to various terms of imprisonment. She showed little emotion throughout her trial, and none when the death sentence was translated into German for her as Tode durch den Strang, literally death by the rope. The prisoners were returned to Lüneburg prison. On the morning of 13th of December 1945, she was the second woman to be hanged by British executioner Albert Pierrepoint. Her final word was schnell or quick. Another source claims she had to be dragged kicking to the gallows. It is clear that she accepted her fate. Perhaps she felt she was dying for her country, almost a form of martyrdom. Perhaps she felt that it was the best way out for her, as Germany had lost the war.